In this live self-defense training class, you're going to discover this one self-defense tool that could save your life. Now, this is known as the Japanese tanbo. Koreans also use a short stick. This is an ancient weapon, but it's also just a stick. People have been hitting people with sticks for self-defense for years. This is 1.25 inches. It's made out of oak, 18 inches long, and you have some basic moves that you're going to learn to do with it. The first one is going to be just a simple slashing strike. The slashing strike allows you to strike the hand or strike the head, strike parts of the body. If the person's coming in, they might have something like this. You have reach advantage. That means yours is longer than theirs. You can smash that hand, or you can smash the operating system, turn off their brain, and stop them from hitting you with it. The second kind of motion that you have is a thrusting motion, either straight in or swinging in from the side. So we have slashing and thrusting. Hello, Garen. Now from here, you have two-handed strikes. You put it on, you can go through his teeth or into his body using two hands, like doing a push-up. You have this hard piece of wood, smashing that against his nose, the soft tissue of his face, his teeth down his throat. This is very effective. From here, because your hands are connected now, you can strike with the sides and hit with a lot more power. So it's a force accelerator, force multiplier, just by putting two hands on it. From this position, you can also lower your body by bending your knees and then thrust with two hands up into the midsection of his body, either into his solar plexus or up into the throat, or a little bit lower, going down into his groin, and put him on the floor very quickly. So we have a simple striking, thrusting, swinging thrust. You have a two-handed pushing motion and a two-handed thrusting motion. Now you also have these strikes coming off the other shoulder. This one is 18 inches long. It's made out of an oak. It's 1.25 inches. There's a link below if you want me to send you one, or go to the hardware store, go to a do-it-yourself shop, buy a 36-inch dowel rod, cut it in the middle, sand it really, really well, and then put some butcher block oil on it. Now from here, you have turning motions with your wrist, being able to explosively strike the side of somebody's head, being able to come through, hitting on one side or the other side. You want to go very fast. It's very effective, and the motion is turning the wrist. You're turning your wrist in as this comes forward, smashing the side of his face. Then you add these strikes, you put them together. You can start with this position. This can become a blocking motion too. You can block from side to side. You can slide your hand down using the length against your arm, blocking against somebody who maybe has a hard instrument like a baseball bat or a tire iron or some other, maybe they're carrying a stick. You can put the other hand behind it, protect your skin, protect your bone. Yes, Shake Skin says for self-defense. You can block on the side of the body. You can block down. Maybe they're throwing a kick. Smash that leg with the stick. And yeah, Matthew says a flick of the wrist. Turning the wrist this way. There's this motion pushing out. That's a hard strike. But when you also turn the wrist at the same time, it becomes even faster and more damaging for self-defense. And you can do it from one hand. The other hand becomes kind of a backstop, so you can rebound off of this hand, striking from one hand to the other. See that you're also turning your shoulders as you do that. You squeeze the stomach up and in as you turn forward, coming from one side to the other. So that's why I say this one tool could save your life. It's a little bit longer. You're able to turn your hips. You can strike. Garen says you can also use baby oil. Yeah, and then it'll be nice and smelly. It'll smell good like a baby. Thrusting, striking off of the shoulders. Again, remember, you don't always have to strike the head or strike the neck, although those are very effective for self-defense. Maybe if they're throwing a punch, you can just smash. And with this heavy piece of wood, again, it's 18 inches, 1.25 inches in diameter. This one's oak. And I soak these for several days in butcher block oil, so it's good for your skin. It doesn't have any heavy metals in it, but it makes it super heavy. So it's heavier than a dry piece of wood. If they're reaching out and they're trying to smash your face, or maybe they've got that bladed weapon, they're trying to slash you or stab you, you can smash coming through here. Thank you, Irish guy. Yes, 18-inch, 1.25 inch round. Smashing the hand, I can tell you that this will break this. This will break that bone. This will come through and break the bones in the arm. Always remember, if you strike a joint, it's going to break easier than smashing against the arm itself, although this is going to do the job. And then learning how to follow through. And yes, you said it was legal. This is more legal than carrying a pair of nunchucks or carrying an expandable baton, which you can't carry in a lot of places. Yeah, it's wood in Brooklyn. Yes, it's legal. So you can carry one of these, and you don't have to tell anybody it's a self-defense stick. You don't tell them it's a Japanese Okinawan Tanbo. Just tell them, you use it. They make these tire thumpers if you drive a taxi cab or you drive an Uber and you need a little bit more self-protection. You get out and you use these to thump and listen for the sound. Truck drivers carry these all the time, and they call them thumpers for their tires. You can call it anything you want. You can say it's a rolling pin. You take a baking class at the end of the day, and this is what you use to roll your bread out real thin, your dough, so you can make those thin, delicious pastries. And you don't even have to tell, it's just your imagination why you're carrying it. But if you learn how to fight with a stick, even if you don't have this stick, you can take a magazine and roll it up. You can use any other stick that you find in your environment for self-defense. There's sticks all over the place here because it's a martial arts school, but in my office where I teach at an elementary school, middle school, there's sticks everywhere for self-defense. God forbid you had to protect the kids. There's something there that I'm gonna pick up to make myself more capable of self-defense. You wanna use this, think of it as a force multiplier, take what you have naturally. So practice basic motions, get into a better stance. That means step back with one foot, put the hands between you and the threat. Practice thrusting motions, and then when you do that, to get more power to stop somebody, you need to turn the shoulders and hips as you extend the arm, and then if you take a step forward, almost like you're fencing, you're gonna create more power. If you were boxing, you're throwing that jab, your jab is strong when you have a straight elbow and you turn your shoulders and hips. That's why you'll see boxers turning and then the pinky side comes up. That's to ensure that they have full extension on the punch. Then they also turn the shoulders and hips, pulling the stomach up and in to get more power. Tuck your chin. But to get knockout power, you need to also, you can see in the mirror behind me, move that front foot like a fencer going for a lunge. A boxer takes a tiny little step with the front foot or with the back foot on the crossing punch, and you're gonna do the same thing with your stick when you're thrusting. Taking a little extra step is gonna accelerate that strike. So you have thrusting motions, practice coming off of your shoulder. Never do these big wide motions. These won't work. Someone will come in, close the distance, wrap it around. You won't be able to hit them. Bring it from your shoulder, and you'll be able to go through and strike with a lot of speed and power. Coming off of the shoulders, aiming your strikes high to the head to knock them out for self-defense. Maybe smashing the hand, smashing the arm, going into the body, into the legs. Maybe you're sitting while they're attacking. You might be in a wheelchair. You might be sitting on the bus, waiting for the bus or on the bus, coming through from the shoulder and swinging, coming through here. Always have a little bit here. Yeah, the puppet master says always carry one when walking his dog or her dog. Hey, Sensei Emmett, it's good to see you. Smashing through here. Sensei Emmett, we're planning on a trip to Ireland this summer. Hope to see you there. Coming through from one side or coming through the other side, coming down on top, all striking with this short side. You can also slide it down so you have longer part coming out, striking this way, or coming around this way. Maybe they're behind you, striking into the soft tissue of their body, into that groin, into the midsection, coming up into the ribs, right into the side of their face for self-defense. As they rush up, you stick that in their face, you slide it back up. You have that reverse slashing motion as you come down. That's the same as that one. Swinging here, coming around, swinging with the length here, coming across this way. That's a very powerful strike for self-defense. Coming across, striking here, going into the ribs, into the body, down into the legs, taking somebody out. With that part, there are just so many ways to use this one self-defense tool that could save your life. Spinning it through your fingers isn't gonna work, but you can practice this accelerating motion by opening your hand and closing your fingers. Notice that your fingers don't come off, they just open, create some distance, and then you flick it in. Think about this flicking strike, right? Coming from here and here. That's a way to accelerate that basic strike coming off of the shoulder. Yeah, we hope to go to visit Donegal for sure. We want to get to both coasts, north and south, all the big cities, all the small cities, make it a tour. See the beautiful Emerald Isle coming through from one side, other side, striking, swinging, practice, slide it up, slide it down, coming through. Now, I threw a lot of information because you can pick and choose what's gonna work best for you, but to get started, always think of the principles of self-defense. Get in a better position, put the stick between you and the threat. Ask yourself a question. What can you remove or destroy? Hello, Naj, it's good to see you. What can you remove or destroy for self-defense? His ability to see or breathe temporarily, permanently, his ability to breathe permanently, maybe his ability to breathe temporarily as you break a couple of ribs, his ability to stab you with a knife as you smash his hand. But it's a question you ask. What can you remove or destroy for self-defense? You get in this better position. Once you answer that question, that'll tell you what strike you're gonna use. So practice all the strikes that you know. Thrusts both here, swinging thrusts, slashing strikes, two-handed, pushing strikes, and then smashing from side to side, like you're boxing his ears, right? Smashing with the sides of the stick, using two hands to thrust. From here, turning the wrist and striking into his face. Sliding it down here and using this snapping as you come across. See how your wrist turns out? So you're moving in two directions. You're turning your shoulders and hips, and then at the end, you're also extending the arm. I was gonna hit my own hand, but I did that last week and it really hurt. Thought I broke my finger. Bringing it across here. You can elbow yourself, but don't hit yourself with a stick. Bring it through here, then from here, bring it back and strike with the length of it. But practice all the different techniques you can imagine that you've seen, that you've learned, but remember the principles. There's a difference between tactics and strategy. It's the same thing. Principles of self-defense will save your life. If you get stuck in technique, you might lose your life, right? So instead, practice principles, getting into a better position, hands up between you and the threat. First principle I always forgot to say is situational awareness. Pay attention what's happening around you while it's happening. Number two, get in a better position. Stick between you and the threat. Number three, ask yourself a question. What can you remove or destroy? Take a breath first. That'll clear the mind just enough. It's not gonna take away the fear. You want that fear. You want that fear to be a fire for you, and you're gonna flip a switch. You're gonna go from fear to indignation. How dare you? How dare you try to take my life or take my dignity or take my freedom? I'm gonna defend myself. The only thing I have is this stick. Let me hit you with it for self-defense. But you have to train your mind to do those basic principles. Situational awareness, better position, hands up and open, take a breath. What can you remove or destroy? And then the rest is close with and destroy. Violence of action. Fight's not over until you win. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you on the next one a little bit later today.